Hello!
Ahoy!
Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to you, Nick. You're also back on the stream boat.
I know.
It's exciting times.
I'm loving it.
Good. I'm glad to have you back aboard. What are we... Excuse me. What are we talking about this week?
We're talking this week about a Danish movie. I don't believe we have seen a Danish movie so
I don't think we have. I think you're right.
We've been to Sweden.
Yep.
Have we been anywhere else around Scandinavia? I don't think we have.
Think so.
Well, we are today. We're watching this Danish movie from 2007.
Well, I've got some notes on that.
Called Room 205.
It is. So Room 205 was released in 2007 or 2012 or 2021.
Okay.
Whenever you want to believe it was released.
I mean, when was it made?
Well, it was released in 2007 in Denmark.
Okay.
So I'm assuming 2006. It came out in 2012 in the UK.
Right.
And then 2021 in France.
That's
random.
Very random.
Very, very random.
I mean, were we short of material this year? I don't know.
No idea what's going on there. It's a 15. It runs for an hour and 31 minutes and is currently rated a 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Currently, it was remade in 2011 in Germany and it's called 205 Zimmer der Angst.
Okay.
And it's currently rated at 5.5 on IMDb. So the remake's actually rated higher.
Oh, interesting.
Which is interesting. And it's currently being remade again in America. And it's called The Dorm.
The Dorm.
The Dorm. And it's been made by the same director who made this.
Ah.
Which is interesting.
Okay.
Stars a guy called... There's loads of Danish names in this.
Bring it on.
I hate. Neil Ronholt. She plays Catherine. Mikael Arndt plays Rolf. You would know him. He was in... Have you seen The Rain on Netflix?
No.
That's like a Danish horror TV show.
Okay.
It's supposed to be really good. I've seen a few episodes, but I never went back after that. But he's in that. And Julia R. Olgaard plays Sana.
Got you. Directed
by Martin Barnevitz. And have you seen Messengers 2, The Scarecrow?
No, I never saw the sequel.
Did you never see the sequel? It stars Norman Reedus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pre-Walking Dead fame. He directed that.
Okay.
And he's currently in, as I said, in the production of remaking this film as The Dorm in America. And was written by Yannick Ty Mosholt, who is the head writer on The Rain.
Okay.
So Netflix have a relationship with the writer of this film, and imagine why it's on Netflix. Do you have a one-word review of The Rain? No. You've not seen The Rain. Do you have a one-word review of Room 205?
Grainy.
Grainy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit, wasn't it?
It was both... My initial thoughts was... My initial impression was this is both grainy and in soft focus at the same time.
It was. It was very strange. The initial problem I have with this film is there is no dub.
Get over it.
I can't.
You can write and
I can't write and read
subtitles.
and watch at the same time. I'm not the multitasker.
Well,
it's the first film we've done that hasn't had a dub.
But it's quite a short film, so if you need to stop it to catch up your notes, then...
I did. Many times.
It took you 2.5 hours to watch this 80-minute film.
Pretty much, yeah. Interestingly, we've not come across a film that doesn't have a dub before.
Yeah.
So
it's, like you say, especially as it's had a remake and there's another one in...
Yeah, it's strange.
So it can't be that low profile.
No.
But it definitely is bottom of the stream.
Oh, 100% is bottom of the stream.
But we've seen... I suppose what I'm trying to say is we've seen more obscure stuff than this.
That's got a dub.
That do have a dub.
Things like Revenger.
Yes.
And, Mirage, even Mirage.
Yeah.
It's got to be lower profile than this, hasn't it?
Yeah, I
Even
think
though it's
so.
a wonderful film. Wonderful film. Where does this film start, Nick?
Screams. It's just screaming. There's a load of just, like I say, grainy yet obscure images.
Yeah.
And then there's a girl in a car.
Yes. There is.
We've started with girls in cars quite a bit.
What, just lately?
Yeah.
This film starts exactly the same way as the last film with a girl in a car did. What was that called?
I'm thinking of After.
Yes. After. That's the one. Yeah, it starts exactly the same way. It's a girl in a car heading to college.
Yeah. Well, I put moving into her apartment. But yeah,
Yeah.
it turns out she's going to
Going
college.
to college. The credit sequences, the car montage goes on for a while, and the credit sequence goes over the top of that.
Her dad is driving her or helping her move.
Yeah, and he doesn't really want her to move. He doesn't want her to leave.
No, and I think the gist of it is basically, actually, you're not that far away. Loads of people commute.
Why don't you commute? He's basically, he even says that. Why don't you just commute? But she wants the college experience.
Sure.
She wants to live in a dorm and get to know some rancid people. She's got this big lamp.
Yeah.
And she's carrying this through the hallways.
This thing is like... And we find out it's got some sentimental value.
Yeah.
But this is old school.
It's a big old unit.
Yeah, it's like the size of her arm.
Yeah, probably more. Big black lamp. And she gets startled by one of the other girls who lives there and drops her lamp.
Yeah.
And smashes it.
Yeah. Smashing stuff is definitely a theme of this movie.
Yeah, it really is. Into conveniently large pieces, she smashes it. She has a bit of an argument with her dad, and her dad eventually leaves and just leaves her to it. Yeah,
she's like, just let me be.
Yeah. So, and my next line says, she goes to meet her annoying housemates.
Sure.
It turns out one guy's just about to move out.
She's taking his cupboard.
She's taking his kitchen cupboard.
Yeah.
And did she take his room? Or
I presume so.
He's moving out as she's moving in. Correct. Anyway.
And he's just popped back to get his can of soup or whatever.
He's got like one can of soup. Yeah. His name's Rolf.
It's a true student experience, as you say.
Yeah, so Rolf cleans this cupboard out. She puts all her stuff in it. We meet Rolf again later on. She then goes back to her room to try and fix her lamp. She's got some glue. Like I said, it's smashed into conveniently large pieces. So she has to go fixing it.
It's not going back together, love. Come on.
It's not. There's a metaphor for the end of the film. And then she kind of gets to know the guy she lives with. They're throwing a party, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the party committee.
Yeah.
So they organise all these social...
It seemed to be competitive partying.
It did a bit.
All the dorms were putting on a party on the same night.
Oh, well, was it the same night? Is that
and whoever got the biggest party won. It was competitive.
Because they were making a load of posters too,
and they were going to win. They were adamant they were going to win, and they probably did. They go and put these posters up around the place. As she's walking around with a guy called Lucas, and he tells her that Sana's room is haunted.
Yeah.
He tells her this story about a girl that
Room 205.
Room 205, hence the name of the film.
Sure.
But it's not her. Unusually, it's not her room.
No,
it's one of her friends' room.
Yeah, so it's one of the.
Which is a strange concept for a film that you live near a room that's haunted. Turns out this girl got electrocuted in the room.
She should probably go into it a lot less then.
Exactly. She's in it a lot, even though it's not her room. It's Sana's room. So he tells her about this story. She doesn't quite believe it, but she ends up going to bed, and she has a bad dream about this room, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Even though she's not been in there yet. Wake up the next morning, we get a walking around the campus montage.
Just before we move on, it's quite lazy, isn't it? Because it's a very much, it's a dream.
Yeah.
Sort of as soon as it starts.
Yeah, you can just tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not a very convincing, scary one either.
There's a jump scene jumps. What is wrong with me? There's a jump scene in there, isn't there? And there's a few jump scenes.
She sees like herself as a ghost, doesn't she?
Then we get a bit of a walking around the campus montage.
Yeah, it goes to a couple of lectures.
Yeah.
This is where Katrina is back at her room.
Yeah.
And Sane comes in.
Yeah. So she kind of meets her for the first time, doesn't she?
Come on, let's choose what clothes you're going to wear for the party.
So she's been told about
Sane. I think it's what girls do.
Yeah. According to these films, it's exactly the same concept as After again, isn't it? She's been told that Sane is a bit of a bitch, but she can't help it. That was Lucas is pretty much his exact line.
That was his introduction.
But she seems okay. She's, like you say, helping her get ready. She avoids a call from her dad.
Yes.
It turns out it's the anniversary of her mum's death.
No, it's her dead mum's birthday.
That was it. I knew it was something along those lines.
In retrospect, very harsh to ignore her dad's call.
Yes, very much so. But she just wants to get on with this college life, I guess. She heads over to Sana's room at this point.
Yes.
Are we calling her Sana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sana. Yeah.
Sane. I don't know. Anyway, she heads over to her room. Because this is the first time she goes in there.
She says, "Yeah, come with me. We'll have a drink or whatever.
Get ready for the party together." As girls do, they get ready together, don't they?
Yeah. There's in their corridor. There's three. Yeah, there's three of them. Three ladies. So there's Katrine, Sana, and is it Lena?
Lena.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the actress who played Lena passed away not long after it.
Oh, really?
She had cervical cancer.
Oh no.
Terrible news. Yes, so they go and get ready in her room. They have a bit of a chat about Rolf, who's the guy that just moved out.
Yeah, they just diss him. He was a weirdo. You're not going to be a weirdo, are you?
Exactly. It's like, if we don't like people, they leave.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We're in charge. They're basically asserting their dominance, aren't they?
Sure.
She heads off into Sana's bathroom because she gets a bit upset because she tells him about her mum's death.
That's right.
And so she gets a bit upset. So she heads off into the bathroom.
Takes a minute.
Yep. And she accidentally breaks one of Sana's perfume bottles.
Yeah, it's a big bottle of perfume.
It is, yeah.
And again, smashed.
Smashed in the sink. And she's trying to clean it up and manages to cut her finger.
Indeed.
On the glass. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. Then, randomly, she rubs the mirror above the sink and it just breaks. Is that what happened? Because that's what it looked like. She just kind of goes like that and the mirror
because the mirror broke later.
No, she cracked it, didn't she?
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She rubs her finger on the mirror and it leaves like a bloody mark, but then it cracks.
Right, okay.
Sana comes in and catches her and she's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's not my mirror. I don't own it.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was talking about the perfume.
No, I think she was talking about that.
Oh, okay. Because when she was just like, oh, don't worry about it.
The mirror definitely smashes later.
It was here when I got here. I think she says or something like that.
Maybe. But the mirror definitely cracked at this point, but it smashes later.
Right, got you.
I hope that's true now because I'm going to make myself look at it.
I'm taking your word for it.
So she leaves at this point and goes, she needs to call her dad back. She knows what he's called and she's going to call him back. So she calls him back. He wants to come and meet her so they can go and visit the grave or whatever, but she's like, no, I'm not having to. I don't want to do that.
I've got some partying to do.
Yeah, I'm going to a party. Then she goes back to her room, tries to fix her lamp again, and she hears some screaming.
I've put their sexy noises.
I've written that next. She hears a scream. Turns out they're sex noises.
I don't know who was doing the sexy noises.
I think it was Sana.
Okay.
I think she's just being ravaged by somebody. So she's like...
So was it Lucas? Because they say that they're an
ex-couple. Yeah, it could have been. They never explained who it was.
No,
she just kind of smiled and listened. For the third time this season, somebody creepily voyeurs somebody else having sex.
She was an audio voyeur because she was enjoying
she smiled to it.
Yeah.
That's the third time this season. It's happened in 6 films. It used to be news reports. Now it's people voyeuring other people's sex lives. After that, she goes to do some laundry. And Lucas comes in, and she's developing a bit of a...
Well, he's got to wash his sheets,
hasn't he? He's got to wash his sheets, exactly. That was Lucas.
Makes sense.
And he doesn't know how to do laundry because boy. Yeah. And she explains to him. And they're becoming some sort of chemistry there. There's chemistry building between the two. There is a frisson. Nice word. And then it's the party.
Party time.
So she heads off to the party with Lena and Sana. Lana and Sana's too confusing. Then we get a party montage.
Yeah, there's cards. Playing cards, there's dancing.
Yeah. Who plays cards at a
party?
I
thought that.
The Danish.
Because it was... it was so loud. It's like
it was
pumping
like a proper,
house music.
Proper dorm party,
like,
college
what?
party.
You call what?
They're playing cards. Very random. Lucas takes her off to dance, and in the middle of dancing, she randomly gets a nosebleed.
Well, no, that's because someone's busted out the bowl of Coke.
Oh, is she doing Coke?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
And, well, I'm not surprised you missed it because it's really quick. And because Sana says, oh, do you want a line? She's like, oh, no, I don't do it. And then it immediately cuts to her doing a line.
Oh, okay. I missed all of that. Okay, I did think it was a bit weird that she got a nosebleed, so that makes more sense now.
Well, did you not see the line later on where, so her nose bleeds, Lucas takes her back out into the corridor, and she says, oh, I don't usually get nosebleeds. So he says, well, have you ever done Coke before?
I did see that line, but I didn't realise that she'd already done so.
Okay.
I thought he was inviting her to.
Oh, right, okay.
Then they do the naughty on the stairs.
Yeah.
Why? They've both got a room each.
Well, his sheets aren't dry.
True, very true.
So he's got to do stand-up naughty.
He's a player, this guy. Yeah, they do. They're kind of in the stairwell, aren't they? And there's
it's because Katrine is backing against a glass door, so the director can have that shot through the glass. Yeah. That's literally the only reason it happens, I think.
And then when they're all finished, he just walks away, really randomly, just leaves.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything. It's a really weird cut of him just walking away. And then she heads off back to the party. It's almost like they've done that thing where it's like, I'll go now, you come a couple of minutes later, so nobody realises.
Sure.
She goes back, but there's nobody there.
Yeah, everyone's gone.
And literally the party's deserted. The party's still going on, the music's still playing.
Well, kind of, but the lighting's totally changed. Yeah. So we've now all the lights are on, so it's none of the like disco lights and stuff.
Yeah.
Music's still playing.
Music's still blaring, but
normal lights are on, which really confused me because I was like, oh, why have they stopped to turn their lights back on?
What's happened here?
But the reason they've stopped to turn the lights back on is because the lights go off.
Yeah.
Again, very
convenient.
Very clunky.
Yeah, all the lights go off and she's left plunged into darkness, isn't she? So she heads over to Sana's room.
Don't know why.
Just to see where people are, I guess.
But would you go to the haunted room when the lights have just gone off? I'm just saying.
No. I'd have just gone bed. I don't know. I thought that's where she was going anyway. I didn't realise she was going back to the party. And then loads of ghosts jump out at her.
Yeah, I just put there's zombies in the room.
Yeah. Or ghosts or zombies or bodies of some description all jump out at her. She screams. It's a bit scary. She runs around a bit scared. She locks herself in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then she sees a ghostly reflection in the mirror.
Sure.
Which isn't there in the room with her.
Yeah.
So she screams again, smashes the mirror.
Yeah, with her shoe, I think.
With her shoe, yeah, she does. She takes the shoe off. Everybody at this point hears this commotion in the bathroom, I guess, and that's when they reveal to her that...
No, they don't. She goes to sleep.
Oh, she does, you're right.
So I don't understand the passing of time either. So she's been scared by these zombies.
Yeah.
Or ghosts or whatever.
Yeah.
Then she goes and smashes a mirror.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to her waking up on a bed.
In Sana's room. They're still in Sana's room.
I presume so.
Yeah.
And everyone else turns up and goes...
I got you.
We were just scaring you.
Yeah, it was a joke.
But they've waited till she woke. So they just stood there while
stood
she's
there,
had
watched
this
her
nap.
sleep. Unless she passed out, and it didn't explain that, but maybe she passed out
and they put her on the bed.
Took her to the bed.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who cares? It was a trick. They apparently they played this trick on all the newbies.
Yeah, it's an initiation.
Yeah, and then she says to them, well, "How did you get the girl in the mirror? How did you do that?"
Yeah,
and they're like, "What are you talking about, you weirdo? There wasn't a girl in the mirror."
Yeah,
there was a girl in the mirror.
Now she does go to bed.
And then she leaves and does go to bed.
Far too much excitement for your first party.
The party continues though, so she has to kind of sleep with a pillow over her head because it's loud. Somebody has graffitied something on her bedroom door.
Yeah, I really could have done with a subtitle.
The subtitles don't have written that. The subtitles don't translate it.
I presume it was something anti her mother.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because they kind of pinned a picture of her mum and dad on the door, hadn't they?
Yeah,
but they'd done it in chalk and she rubbed it off really easily.
It was like red, wasn't it? I think, was it like lipstick or something?
Maybe. I thought it was maybe chalk.
Could be, I don't know. Again, never gets referenced, doesn't matter. We don't even know what it said.
No.
The next day, she bumps into Rolf.
Who seems quite normal, to be honest.
Like a nice guy. Although she's horrible to him.
Yeah, she is.
She's sitting in the seat that he had recently vacated and wanted to come back to.
But he's left his stuff.
Yeah, he's left his stuff there.
He's
sitting
left
on
his
stuff.
books there and he's gone for a piss or
Yeah.
buy a coffee or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's just sat there.
And he comes back and he's like, oh, I was sitting there. And she's like, piss off.
Yeah. She's like, there's loads of other places
it's
you can
really
sit.
out of character for her. Because she's quite a nice person throughout the whole film. But for some reason, she just attacks this guy.
I'm glad you thought that, because I thought it was well out of order.
It was really weird. It was very weird. And he does. He's like, takes his stuff and goes and sits on the bench behind her. And then he's kind of just staring at her thinking, what the fuck was that all about?
Yeah.
And she shouts at him again. She's like, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm like, chill out, love. Jeez.
Poor Rolf.
But she's mean to him for looking at her.
For having eyes.
Somebody, when she gets back to the room, somebody has stolen all of her food out of her cupboard. Lena comes in as she realises this and gives her some of her own food.
Oh,
or did she give her
she gives her
food
hers back?
I didn't understand.
It doesn't matter.
Again, doesn't matter.
And she says, don't tell Sana I helped you, basically.
Yeah, but then Sana comes in and catches her helping her. Sana's jealous because she knows that Lucas and Catherine have done the naughty.
Yeah.
And she says to him, he won't talk to you again now.
Yeah.
That's it. He's got what he wanted out of you. And that'll be the end of it.
She says, I don't care about him.
Yeah, I don't want him.
She does.
But of course she does. She's like, I don't want him, but I do want him, but I don't want him. I've written in my notes at this point, I'm sure at some point something is going to happen.
I'll tell you what. This dragged like anything.
The first half
I'll
of
say
it.
now, this was so fucking boring.
It gets going. It does get going. But again, it doesn't get...
Marginally.
Yeah.
I really struggled with this. I've got to say.
I'm with you. It is the first half. We're probably about halfway there.
Yeah.
And it is boring. Because it's just horrible people getting to know horrible people.
Sure.
And then Catherine's supposed to be alright, but then she's horrible. So they're all just horrible students. Sana's got some sort of power over Lena because she says to her, "Can you go and tidy my room up and get rid of that broken mirror that's still there?" Even though it's been like at least a day since. And she does. And
you're right, it was already cracked. She breaks it even more, doesn't she?
Yeah. So Lena goes and picks all the broken pieces of mirror up out of Sana's room. And she's got them in a bag and she's taking them down the hallway.
Sure.
And she spots a reflection in a piece of mirror.
Yes.
Or the ghost girl that lives in this mirror, apparently. And then it just disappears and it's gone. And
she imagines blood over herself as well, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Which
so
happens
she gets an image of blood over her.
Yeah. Her reflection.
Yeah, her reflection. And she heads down to the laundry room. So I presume that's where the rubbish goes, I don't know. But she heads down there to the basement. And she can hear some crying. And there's all like laundry hanging from the ceiling.
Sure.
And it's weird. And then she sees this ghost.
Yeah.
This girl, the ghost of this girl. And it freaks her out. She runs away. And then she sees it again.
Yeah, like the powder falls over. There's all sorts
of
shenanigans.
ghost shit going on. And then she sees it again, and it scares her so much that she throws herself through a glass table.
It's quite a small glass table, which violently kills her.
It does. It really does.
It's like a side table.
Yeah.
It's a wooden table with a glass top, and it shreds her.
It's literally to pieces.
It made me laugh, and it wasn't supposed to.
Twice this week I've seen somebody get shredded by glass, because in Spiral it happens as well. This was probably more dramatic than that was.
Yeah, but it was like she went through this ornamental table and then it was...
She was gone.
Yeah.
She's got this massive great bit of glass through her. She had a really weird like seizure type thing and then just died.
It was quite a violent death, I must say.
Yeah, she bleeds out. Katrin at this point goes to find Rolf because she thinks something weird's going on now.
Now but this was an absolute about face because now she's just been horrible to this guy.
Yeah.
And now she's like laying on the charm.
Nothing's changed as well because Lena's body hasn't been found at this point. Nobody knows that she's dead. So literally
we've only seen Katrine once in between these two meetings with Rolf, and that was with the thing with moving the food around the kitchen.
And then she goes and she's really nice to him this time.
Yeah.
And she says to him, "Look, why did you move out?" And he's like, "Well, just moved out."
They're all cunts.
Just because they're all dickheads, yeah. He thinks that they were trying to scare him with ghost stories and ghost visions. And she's like, "Yeah, that's what they're doing to me now." Okay.
He tells her about the girl. He says,
he tells her the
girl.
story.
It's true.
Yeah, it's all true.
A girl died in that bathroom.
Yeah. She got electrocuted. They go for coffee, don't they?
Yeah.
He tells her over the coffee.
Then Katrine takes Rolf back to the dorm.
This was weird as well.
For no reason.
Other than to rub him in Sana's face.
Yeah, to wind the others up.
Yeah.
And he even says to her, "Well, don't use me."
Yeah. Well, because it's obvious that's what she was doing. Because she's a dick. Nobody at this point has still found Lana's body. She thinks they rigged the mirrors.
Yeah. And then Rolf just casually drops that, no, they're doorways to another world.
Mirrors are doorways to another world.
Yeah.
That's where trapped souls live.
Everyone knows that. He just drops it like it's a fact.
It's just a thing that everybody... I can't believe you don't know that, you idiot.
There's a mirror.
Yeah.
It's a doorway to another world.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
So weird. Which is fine, if that's the concept of your film. It's not the first time that's been done.
Do you think there's something lost in the subtitles?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe.
It's like the intonation of... I don't know. Because he says... it was so matter of fact.
It was just matter of fact. Like, yeah, mirrors are evil. Have you seen the film Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland?
I think many years ago.
That's a good film. Then she walks him home, which is also strange because then she has to walk home on her own in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's not very gentlemanly.
It's not very gentlemanly.
He's probably thinking at this point, I don't want her to know where I live because she's being very strange.
She's a psycho. And when she gets home, though, she finds Lena's phone.
She does, yes.
It's ringing or making a noise or something. And then instantly finds Lena's body just next to the phone.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Why she was even in the basement in the middle of the night anyway, nobody knows. So she screams. It's quite a good scream, actually.
She has got a good scream.
I'll give her
that.
And the police show up, obviously, because there's a dead body in the basement. Sana questions why she was in the basement in the middle of the night anyway.
Did you have something to do with this?
Yeah, why are you down there? Which is a good question, because why was she down there?
It's never addressed.
It's never addressed, never answered. Sana calls her a fucking mental liar, which I thought was a great line. I really enjoyed that. Catherine calls Rolf to tell him that Lena's dead. And
he's like, told ya, mirrors.
Yeah. Sorted. It's obviously mirrors.
Why are you surprised?
Yeah. It's a scary place. Lucas comes back. He comes over to Catherine. He tries it on with her.
Yeah, he thinks this would be a great time for me to try and get my leg over.
Yeah. Obviously, she turns him down. And then his head starts bleeding, but only in the reflection.
Yes.
In the mirror in her room.
Also, there's a lot of mirrors in this dorm.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Every room's got like 3 mirrors.
Yeah, I know.
He sees a reflection of himself and his head's bleeding. And he's like touching his head and it's not bleeding in real life. And then he leaves. Rolf shows up randomly at her door.
He's done some proper research.
He's
turned up with a load of old newspapers.
Captain Exposition shows up with a load of old newspapers.
I don't know where he's got them from.
No, he's just been researching in the last 10 minutes. All mirrors tell stories, but most are good. That was his line.
The newspapers are all the news stories from the time of this girl.
Yeah, when she got killed in this room.
Dying in the room.
She tells him her mum had some mental issues, and now she thinks she's starting to get them as well.
I feel like we're back in Malevolent.
Yeah. He reassures her she can't have just made the ghosts up because it's all real.
And now she's jumping Rolf's bones.
Yeah, so she kisses him.
She's really going for this full-on college experience.
That scene where she's so horrible to him.
Partying, coke, sex.
Boy every night.
Ghosts.
Just horrible to him in that first scene. Now she's getting off with
This is like, yeah.
So strange. Then Rolf leaves again. He doesn't stay over the night or anything.
No, Lucas kind of gives him some aggro in
he bumps into
corridor.
Lucas in the hallway. He won't get out of his way. Did you get the point? Rolf leaves Lucas says to him, remember who the first man on the moon was?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I think it basically means you're getting my sloppy seconds.
Okay. I was like, what?
I think it may have been a poor subtitling.
Maybe,
again, but, you know, everyone remembers the first man on the moon, not necessarily the second.
Okay, fair enough.
But
I've written again, 4 question marks after it. I don't know what that means. So Lucas, we leave Rolf and we follow Lucas at this point. Lucas gets in the lift because he's going somewhere.
Mirrors in a lift.
Lifts are basically just moving mirrors.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they are, aren't they? Boxes of mirrors. The ghost's in the lift with him. The ghost girl. And obviously the lift stops. And that's when he spots her. He sees the ghost girl.
Sure.
And he freaks out a little bit. He doesn't scream, but he
kind of comes out of the mirror and she is in the lift.
She's in the lift with him. He tries to pry the door open to the lift, even though the lift's kind of stopped halfway between floors.
It's betwixt floors.
Betwixt. Good word.
Thanks.
So he manages to get the doors open and he tries to get out.
Yeah, he's sort of wriggling through the gap.
Yeah, but then...
that's a bad idea, isn't it?
We've all seen Cube. It cubes him. So basically he gets his head out the lift and the lift moves and his head gets squashed, cut off.
Yeah.
He dies. So we're at 2 bodies and Catherine again finds the body.
Yeah, finds him pretty quickly this time.
Yeah, she does. She
also catches another glimpse of the ghost.
She leaves her room, goes to the lift, finds the body.
Yeah.
Where was she going?
I don't.
She catches the ghost girl is still in the lift with him when she gets there. Yeah. So she finds. So this is the second body in the same day or the subsequent days that she's found. So it does start to look like she's being a bit. Why are you being a bit creepy here, love?
Yeah, but can you imagine her? The police are like, oh, we've just dropped the last one off, and now you're here again.
Now you found another body. What are you doing? The ghost though starts following her this time.
Sure,
but not for long. It just kind of gives up, doesn't it?
Well,
because
we kind of morph into. I guess the ghost is being.
The ghost shows her what happened.
Yeah, and this again doesn't really work for me because. It's context obviously needed for the story, but why is the ghost like nice to her here?
Yeah, the ghost
and then not later.
The ghost goes, "Come back in time with me.
Yeah,
you can be an
Show
observer.
you what happened.
You can stand in the room and I'll show you how I died."
And it's pretty nasty, to be fair.
It's brutal. It's too much.
I'd say it sounds horrific for me to say. It's probably the best bit of the movie. Is this flashback?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but it's too much.
It is too much.
It goes too far.
Yeah.
So basically, she sees a flashback. She's in this flashback. She sees the girl run past her in the hallway, and there's a group of lads following her.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Run into room 205.
Yeah. And they're obviously trying to rape her, I guess.
Yeah.
And they eventually get into the bathroom. Well, eventually they get her up against that same door where Catherine and Lucas had the naughty earlier.
Yeah.
But she gets through there. She gets away from them there.
Yeah, she tries to hide in the room, but they get in.
Gets to the bathroom. And there's these like 6 lads just raping this girl. Or with hands all over her. It's horrible. Accidentally bang her head on a wall, which knocks her silly.
Yeah,
she
so
doesn't
she's
know where
fuzzy.
she is. She's fuzzy at this point. And then I don't want to say just bend her over in front of the mirror.
In front of the mirror, yeah.
And she's basically looking at her reflection being raped and screaming into this mirror.
And one of them, so there's like a, I don't know what is there anyway. There's like a radio.
There's a radio playing
in the bathroom. And one of them sort of turns
the shower gets turned on because she gets soaked as well.
Yeah, so that's slowly filling up. One of them turns the radio on and then up, obviously, to drown out the noise of what's going on.
But this scene of her just screaming into the mirror while she's being raped is horrendous. It's too much. And I don't say that very often. I watched Spiral last night, for God's sake. It's too much. She ends up getting thrown into the bath.
Yeah, and she takes... So I presumed she kind of did it on purpose. Not... So she kind of put her arm out and took the radio with her.
Into the water with her. But I don't know if I don't know, was it an accident?
Well,
it ended up in there with her.
Yeah, I kind of took it as she went that rather than finished through the assault.
Yeah.
And that she kind of had the wherewithal to drag the radio in with her.
Yeah, maybe. It was horrendous.
She died.
Yeah, she electrocutes herself in the bath. I've written there, tough scene to watch. Because it really is. It's horrible. I mean, Netflix got a lot of stick when 13 Reasons Why came out for their suicide scene. And they eventually ended up cutting it out of the show. And then you've got scenes like this, which is much worse.
Yeah, it's because no one's ever going to watch it.
It's because no one's ever going to watch it. It's not a big deal. But it's much worse than that scene ever was in 13 Reasons Why. An ambulance comes, takes Lucas away. They're not going to revive him. I don't know why an ambulance turns up. And Sana starts screaming at Catherine.
Yeah,
cut back
this
out
is
the
all
flashback
you.
now.
Yeah.
This is all on you. We know you're doing something here. So Catherine leaves. She heads over to Rolf. She tells him all about Lucas. And then she pretty much tells him everything that's already happened in the film.
She then tells Rolf, again, big jump of logic here, but this is this movie. Katrine says, I let the ghost out when I smashed the mirror.
Yeah. Did you? How do you know this?
She didn't know that mirrors were doorways to another world until
she's just guessing that's what
half an hour ago.
But then Rolf says, oh, well, in that case, we just need to put the mirror back together.
Yeah.
What? Because things in this...
He says, we'll reassemble the mirror and we'll put her back.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, Rolf. That would have been useful.
Perfect. Why didn't we know that in the
a little while ago?
Because things in Denmark only smash into big pieces.
Very convenient the way this mirror smashed.
Yeah, it was like 5 pieces.
Yeah.
It was almost like an infinity mirror. You just gathered the 5 stones back together. So quite quickly, they head down to the basement where Lena was taking the mirror when she got killed.
Yeah, so it's still there. No one's took the trash out.
Nobody's took the trash out. The mirror's still there, and 4 of the 5 pieces are there.
Oh, wouldn't you believe it?
But they don't realise this until they've got them all in place.
And the one that's missing is like
massive.
Huge.
The biggest bit by
dagger-sized bit of mirror.
So they figure, well, that must still be in Sana's bathroom.
Yeah, because she doesn't tidy up.
Lena wasn't very good at tidying up either. So they go there.
Sana must be a dirty pig. She's not cleaned her bathroom up.
So she's like, right, let's go to the bathroom. And then Rolf comically breaks the door down with his shoulder. Just shoulder barges through the door. Sana could have been in there for all they knew.
Yeah, exactly.
And they go into the bathroom. They do find this piece of glass.
A huge piece of glass is just there on the floor.
Huge piece. But Sana catches them and she confronts them. She's like, what the fuck are you doing in my room?
Yeah, and she's got a backup, hasn't she, at this point?
She's got some goons with her.
But Katrine actually squares up to her.
She does, because she's got the bit of glass. Get the fuck out of my way. She's like, I'm not mental, you are. That's what she says. But they eventually escape from her, don't they?
Basically a chase starts.
Yeah. It does. And they get away.
But all roads in this dorm lead to the laundry room.
They lead to the laundry room in the basement, because that's where Catherine ends up. Sana's got the piece of glass now.
Yeah, but, the reason why they all lead to the laundry room is that you can try and generate a bit of suspense. I mean, how big was this room? Because it looked pretty small. But
It got a laundry hanging up, hadn't
But
it?
all of a sudden, they can't see each other or tell where each other are because they're separated by sheets.
Yeah. And they're talking to each other and still can't find each other.
Yeah, I would say it's the same size as this room.
Yeah, probably.
Like just a
normal standard bedroom size.
Yeah.
Sana's got the piece of glass now, and she's carrying it around. They eventually have a bit of a tussle over it, don't they?
They do.
And Sana catches her reflection in it, and her eye's bleeding.
Yeah.
In the reflection, but not in real life, as we know. Mirrors. It's cut back upstairs. Rolf's just randomly smashing mirrors.
There's so many mirrors for him to smash.
There's mirrors in the hallway.
He's in the foyer of the dorm. He's having a whale of a time.
You can see the girl in all of these mirrors and he's just smashing them, having a great time. Katerina explains to Sane what's happening and what they need to do to stop it happening.
Yeah, she's not having any.
Sane's like, that's ridiculous. I've never heard anything like it. So they have a tussle and they have a bit of a fight over this glass. And Katerina lets go and it pings up straight into Sane's eye.
Of course it does.
And it's a big piece of glass, as we've established. And it goes right in and kills her. She's dead. Katerina, though, still needs to reassemble this mirror.
Sure. It's got to come out.
That's got to come out. So we get a gruesome scene of her pulling this glass out of this girl's eye.
That wasn't too bad. It's when she has to flick the jelly off the end of it after she's pulled it out of her eye.
Yeah, it's not nice. So she takes it. She goes to find Rolf. They finish reassembling the mirror.
Oh, they start to have a hug first.
Oh, yeah, they have a bit of a hug first, obviously, because relationship. So they finish reassembling the mirror, and Rolf says, right, we've done that. Now all we need to do is trap her.
Yep.
That's going to be easy.
He smashes the last mirror in the room.
He does.
In the washroom.
Yeah. Traps her.
Well, they try.
It's not even like that dramatic, is it? It's like they catch her see her in one mirror.
Yeah.
And then
Rolf smashes it, so she comes out.
It, and then
they show her the cracked mirror.
Then the girl comes out.
Yeah.
And they show her the cracked mirror, and she gets sucked into
everything. Well, no, not quite, because everything goes quiet, and they're like, "Oh, has it worked?"
Yeah.
And then Rolf says, "Oh, no, it's not worked. I don't know how he knows." And then another door slams shut.
Has a mirror on it.
And that's got a mirror on it, because of course, mirrors everywhere.
I reckon we're at 30 smashed mirrors at this point.
At least.
So
they have to repeat the process.
Yeah, they have
so
to
they
smash
see her
that
in
mirror.
that mirror, then they
Smash
catch her
that.
in the cracked mirror.
Yeah, and they catch her.
Yeah. Everyone's happy. The ghost is trapped.
Yeah. But not.
Well, she escaped it by getting out of a cracked, smashed mirror.
Yeah.
So how is it now trapped her, even though it's still smashed?
Yeah, exactly. And
how does this work?
It doesn't, because she attacks Rolf again, doesn't she? And then we're just like, right, we'll give up on that story now because it doesn't make any sense.
She was back in though, wasn't she?
She did go back into it eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
But she could have easily got back out again, as far as I'm concerned. But then the filmmakers were like, no, that's the story done.
Yeah.
What we're going to do now is give you an end.
Yeah, I'm totally confused by this last minute.
Me too, because Rolf appears to be in some sort of institution.
I thought they were at a hospital.
Yeah, I think he'd been driven insane. That's how I understood it.
Well, I don't understand.
Because he didn't talk.
Because I don't know why else.
He just looked comatose. He was awake, but he was like...
He wasn't talk that much before.
Well, no, he didn't. But he was just like looking into the distance.
So you reckon she'd sent him doolally?
Yeah. That's the impression I got from it.
Because it was really weird because Katrine was there and her dad was there.
Yeah. So
but then he was like, oh, I'll see you later.
It was like they'd gone to visit him.
Yeah.
In this institution. And then she's like, right. Then her dad leaves. And then Katrine's like, well, now he's gone, I'm going.
But in totally separate directions.
Yeah.
That makes more sense if he was... I
think he'd been driven insane somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe by that. I've no idea. But as Katrine leaves, what does she walk past? Mirror. What does she see in the mirror?
Ghost.
Sana's ghost with a bleeding eye. But so Sana's trapped in a mirror in a hospital.
Yeah.
That's not where she lived.
Correct.
Or where she died.
Yeah.
Because in theory, she should be trapped in a mirror in the laundry room.
Exactly. But they smashed all the mirrors.
And it screams at her, and the film ends.
And she screams, and
yeah, they scream at each other, and the film ends.
What? I don't know. I thought this was going to be all right.
I did as well.
Because I'd done the same bit of reading you do, and I'd seen, okay, it's had a remake, it's getting another remake. There must be something to do. I was expecting it to be a bit rough around the edges.
I was expecting some sort of like cult horror film.
And lo-fi.
Yeah.
But...
There's a lot of horror films out there that people are aware of that are good, but are not in the public domain. They're not popular horror films. I was expecting to have found one of those.
Yeah.
And that's why it's getting remade twice. And films like It Follows is a great film, but there's not many people who have seen it. And I expected to find a Danish version of something like that. And that's not what this is.
I mean...
In terms of scares, this film is... There are people that would be scared of this film. The horror films don't affect me, and they don't really affect you. But there are people that would jump and be scared of this film. This is probably the scariest film we've seen. And in terms of scares. So we've seen a few horror films, but we've not seen many scary films.
They did try to lay on a few jump scares.
Yeah.
Only 3 people die.
Yeah.
The ghosts makeup's it's pretty shit, to be honest.
It is.
The only one that really thought, wow, that's pretty good actually, was Sane taking the mirror to the eye.
Yeah.
Because Lena's death through the ornamental table made me laugh.
It was ridiculous.
And
Luke's head was
quite...
It's a standard lift death, isn't it? It happens all the time.
There's 2 parts for me. The first is, it's boring.
But for the vast majority of it's boring, yeah.
I don't like to say that often because I don't like being that negative about movies, but I think being boring is the worst thing a movie can be.
Yeah.
And this is that for
until the
60 to 70 minutes.
Until the ghost reveals
minutes.
What happened to her, then it gets going. It moves.
Before
that, it's boring.
I don't think the acting is very good, and
it's difficult
it can
to
be
tell.
hard to tell.
It's difficult to tell in a foreign language, but yeah, I think you're right.
I think Katrine's okay.
Yeah.
All the supporting cast are pretty terrible.
Yeah. It was a horror remake of After. There's a lot of it was very similar to After.
I didn't think it was that scary. I thought it was a real slog.
I'm not saying it's scary. I'm just saying there are people out there that would be scared of it. And as far as horror films go, I think it's probably the scariest one we've done. When you look at ghosty films that we've done on this show,
but because it's relying on
jump scenes, jump scares.
Shot factor, it doesn't create, for me, it didn't create any atmosphere. I did not find, we said I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House was deeply flawed, but at least it tried to make an atmosphere and a character out of its setting, and this didn't do that at all.
No. I suppose if you compare it to that, Temple, Malevolent, trying to think of other horror films we've done that are
ghosty stuff.
I think
they're the main ones.
They're the main ones. It's scarier than all of them, but at the same time, it's not scary.
Yeah.
But there are people out there that
and it is a slog, and
it's a real slog. It seemed to go on for ages. I didn't like it either.
And I thought there'd be something in there.
It seemed to go on forever, and it was because I did have to keep pausing it to catch up on my notes.
And then it's just the last 2 minutes when they're in that hospital is just totally nonsensical.
It's a second week in a row we've had a nonsense ending.
Yeah.
It's just like, why?
Why had he gone crazy? Why had he gone mute? And she hadn't?
I've no idea. And she was absolutely fine. And she'd gone through the ringer more than he had.
Yeah, because they had the conversation as they were capturing the ghost in the laundry room. He was like, "Oh yeah, I think it's worked."
Yeah.
And then suddenly he's
comatose in a hospital.
Yeah.
I've no idea. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Stupid.
It was stupid. I mean, we've got to turn the tide on it, but I think just remake it better. That's what the director's trying to do, obviously.
It should be set in a carnival. And if we're going mirrors, the last scene should be in a house of mirrors.
Like Funhouse Massacre.
Yeah. I mean, this was... How do you turn the tide on it?
I don't know, because...
It's low budget, so it's hard to set, but you can still be creative.
There's no story there.
I think you need to work on the characters, because they're fucking horrible.
Just generic students in a generic student accommodation who have got a lot of mirrors.
Katrina is sad about her mum for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it gets mentioned like twice.
Yeah.
There's no character development. I didn't care about any of the characters. I don't know how you turn this... I don't know how you make this one better, because there's so much of it that's wrong. I'd really struggle with.
You got to pull up. You're pulling up trees and rewriting, and
you've got to rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we just do that. We just make a good film. Just it's awful.
Recast it.
Again,
I really didn't like it.
I didn't either. And I love it. I'm quite forgiving of horror films.
I know you are.
And I'm not. I can't be for this. It's just dull. And
In fact,
a horror film should never be boring.
I was pretty gobsmacked of how bored I was of it.
Yeah.
I always think, again, it's an 80-minute long film, even if it's not great, and I don't expect great things. Obviously, this is bottom of the stream.
Yeah.
That I can put up with it for 80 minutes, but this was really difficult to get to the end.
Yeah, it was. No film should ever be boring, but no horror film has any right to be boring.
Yeah.
It's so it's just easy to not make them boring. So when they're boring, it's unforgivable.
I'm struggling to think of many positives at all in this, to be honest.
Me too. Stream table?
Yeah.
Shall I do it from memory? Because I've not written it down anywhere.
Go for it.
Temples at the bottom.
Indeed.
I can't do it from memory.
How many? What is this? Number 6?
So temples at the bottom. Let's go from the top. So last week, Urge is at number 1.
Yes.
John Henry's at number 2.
Yes.
Happy Anniversary is at number 3.
Correct.
After is at number 4. Temples at number 5.
Sure.
There's your stream table. Where does this go? Is it better or worse than Temple? Because it's better. It's not as After's better.
I 100% agree. I think After is a much better movie than this.
Especially the first 20 minutes are exactly the same film. I think Temple's worse than this. Because I think there are people out there that would be scared of this film. But I don't think anybody's going to be scared of Temple.
I think it's very close.
It's very close. It's as close than I ever wanted to be to Temple.
I think I had a worse time watching this than Temple, but I think Temple stays on the bottom because it's more nonsensical.
Yeah. It's more fun.
But Temple is more fun to take the piss out of than this. Because this was...
This is a better... it's so close between... You can't say this is better than this. Or this is more fun than this, because they're both awful, awful horror films.
Yeah.
They're both boring. They're both nonsense.
This has got nominally more creativity with its deaths, I will say. That was maybe the thing that's edging it.
The glass in the eye maybe steals it.
Yeah. It's the jelly on the mirror.
So not bottom, but second from bottom.
Just
but very, 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 very close.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
I'd agree. Should we pick next week's film?
Yes, please.
Can we have something good this week?
Yes, please.
The randomiser has not been kind to us just lately. When did we last have a good film?
I mean, it's tough. I think you could argue we've not had a good film this season.
I don't even think Urge is at the top of the stream. I don't think that's a good film. It's just better than the 4 other 5 that we've seen.
I think that's fair.
So what about Funhouse Massacre? And I picked that. So we can't even choose that. So how far back do we go? White Girl? No, that went low down.
Average. I wouldn't say that was good.
It's been ages. It's been ages. That's at least like 8 weeks. Mr. Randomizer, pick us something good. I'm going to ask you what you want, but we just want something good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah?
I don't care what genre we're in.
Right, I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
Yes.
It has picked a film called In the Shadow of the Moon.
Okay.
Ever heard of it?
Vaguely.
Vaguely?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because it's been on the list for a while, but
I think it has been on the list for a little while.
It's kind of ringing a bell in that it's not the first time I've heard those words, but that's all I've got.
Fair play. It's from 2019.
I say pretty recent.
Pretty recent. It's a crime, mystery, sci-fi thriller.
Great combination.
Do you want to know the synopsis?
Yes, please.
It says, a Philadelphia police officer struggles with a lifelong obsession to track down a mysterious serial killer whose crimes defy explanation.
Okay.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It's 6.2 on IMDb.
That's pretty high.
That's the highest we've done this season, I think, so we might be in for something good. Michael C. Hall's in it.
Oh, Dexter himself.
We like Dexter. Anybody else that's worth mentioning? Boyd Holbrook. I feel like I know that name. I don't know why.
Yeah, wasn't he in... I think he was in Logan.
Oh, okay. I've seen that, so that's maybe where I know him from.
Yeah.
Excellent. So what do you think about doing a crime mystery sci-fi thriller?
I like a cop film, so I'm up for it.
I'm excited. So yeah, go and check out In the Shadow of the Moon. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. The email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. The website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you will find everything we've ever recorded. All 5 season stream tables now coming up. Well, there will be soon. And you can even get some merch on there if you need to. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, you can, for a couple of quid every month, you can get some bonus episodes, early access to the movie show episode. Nick writes a newsletter every month, and for a certain level, you can get a wild card. And check us out on Discord. The Discord chat is kicking off this week. Everybody's talking in there this week, so go and check that out and come and join us. The link for that will be in the bottom of the show notes.
Yeah, if you have a couple of minutes spare, please consider leaving us a review anywhere you can review podcasts. That could be Podbean, Podchaser, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you can get your podcast from, because I think we're on all of those things.
Pretty much all of them, I think.
Maybe you could even steam up a mirror and write a review in there for any future occupants of the dormitory to find.
Just don't go smashing it.
No, definitely don't do that.
7 years bad luck?
Yeah, and your review will escape out and haunt you forevermore.
That's true. And haunt us, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that and then check out In the Shadow of the Moon, and we'll be back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday for In the Shadow of the Moon.
Cheers.
Bye.